I agree. Big passing game today for the Birds. Let's go to John McMullen live from NovaCare, or from not NovaCare, from Lincoln Financial Field, joining the show today. Johnny Mac, welcome to the show, brother. Birds get a 10 straight win, 27-13. Jalen's passing the ball everywhere. AJ's getting the ball. Devontae's getting the ball. What do you make of it, John? Your first reaction to the Birds win
Oh
today?
boy, man, that was a beatdown. That was
Yeah.
a beatdown of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, that was an emphatic win. 10 consecutive wins for the Eagles, franchise record. Done it nine straight a bunch of times before. The first time they've taken it to 10, so that's a positive. But this was their most impressive win of the season by far, by far. I mean, they destroyed that team, and that's a good football team. They destroyed that team to the point where, the final drive, I think, was 10:28. They took off the clock. 10:28 to close the game. Um, and then the passing game getting going. We're joking about, hey, what's the problem now? Get the ground game going. What's going on? They were so spectacular passing the football. And AJ Brown, and this is the part. This is where all the frustration stemmed from, because it should be easy, right? With that offensive line, with those receivers, it should be easy. Today it was easy against a very good defense. And TJ Watt, man, that dude is unbelievable.
We
But
talked about him a little earlier. He's
yeah,
insane, John.
yeah. I mean, his ability to, and Nick was talking about it this week about his GPS to track the football. And then when he punches it out, man, that guy's spectacular.
I can't believe Jalen hung on to that when he was.
I know the second one. Yeah,
That
one tremendous job.
Holding that ball, that was insane.
Hey, John, to your point about being killed, I mean, the respect that Sirianni had for Tomlin taking a knee, they could have punched it in and put 34 up on it. But how about this thing, John? 77 offensive plays to 40 plays, 41 plays. 41. I mean, 77. John, it was 2-1. I mean,
and Pittsburgh came in. Pittsburgh came in as the number one time of possession team in the NFL. It was 39-52 to 20-08. So basically 40-20. 66.7% of the game, the Eagles were on the field offensively. Like I said, it was emphatic. 401 to 163 total yards, 26 to 10 first downs. I don't know if Pittsburgh's going to recover from this beatdown. This is like when San Francisco beat the Eagles last year, and the Eagles went into a spiral and said, we can't compete with that team. That's what Pittsburgh is probably saying right now. They can't compete with that team.
John, did they answer your concerns in the passing game today, or you still want to see more? Where are you on the passing game today? Because
they answered a lot of my concerns, because all you have to do is get the football to AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Doesn't have to be complicated. You saw today against a very good defense. Doesn't have to be scheming guys open. Everybody's upset. You got to scheme this guy open. You got to scheme this guy open. AJ Brown schemes himself open. Devontae Smith schemes himself open. They're better than the opponent 9 times out of 10. Simple. Get them the football. Today they got them the football. Whether it was, the reason why they did, if it was what happened last week, hey, maybe tip the cap to the dreaded media, because they fucking fixed it. I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you, John, I have a question for you on that, though. Was it more so that they wanted to throw the ball more because, again, Barkley got really banged up in that game, too. He missed the entire second quarter. I mean, and when you look at really Pittsburgh's deficiency, it's in that secondary where they were like down in the 28th, the late 20s. So, again, Jalen was on fire, not taking anything away from that. It was his best game of the year, maybe a year and a half when he came to the passing game. But Barkley got beat up. John, did you hear anything? Anybody make any comments? Because, you want him healthy. It just looks like to me Pittsburgh did a great job stuffing him.
Yeah, they did. He had one 22-yard run, and if you take it, was like 18 for 43. besides that. So they did a good job on him. He's been banged up a couple times this year where he's had to sort of take himself out for a series or two and then comes back in. So he's been, when you carry the football as much as he does, touch it as much as he does, it's week 15 in the NFL. That's why it's so hard to beat Eric Dickerson's record or 2,000 yards. The biggest problem is not that you can't do it; it's that can you stay healthy for the whole way, um, and that's the bigger hurdle. So, you know, I think maybe people should realize who gives a shit about that record, to be honest, because you'd
Yeah.
rather have them healthy for the playoffs, um, and hopefully, you know, more common sense will come into that conversation because the Eagles' goals are getting a lot closer because Detroit not only lost today, but Dan Campbell said Lynn McNeil and Carlton Davis are out for the year. So they lost
Holy
two more
cow.
Those are
two
two
more
good
key
players.
defenders. Yeah. He believes they're season-ending injuries. So two more key defensive players. I mean, at this stage, it's coming up all Eagles.
John, let me ask you this here about Hurts here today. Just to show you again, to hammer that nail in. I mean, they had 2 turnovers and he was sacked 3 times. That's almost 40 on the year now. And they blew that team out now. I mean, they're playing better football, and there's no question. My only concern would be this, John, I'm a creature of trends. And so is this going to be a trend moving forward? Or is this going to be, we've always, I think all of us have always thought they have the ability to do this, but they haven't executed it. You always bring this point up, John. Hey, you could draw all the plays up on the board you want, but if you don't execute it, this comes down to player accountability here. So again, for me, I want to, I like you said, John, I'm not looking for the number 1 passing offense or the number 10 passing offense. I'm just looking for you to kind of move the sticks with these guys on a consistent basis. I don't think you could be first in rushing and last in passing and sit there and tell me, well, you know what? We're going to turn it on week in and week in, week out. That was a great game today. I'm not dismissing that, but I'd like to see a little more consistency because the one thing they haven't been consistent in the passing game this year. And I think this is a great test coming up. I think Washington next now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a divisional game. If they go for 300 yards, Zander, I'll say it. I think they've answered a lot of questions if they could put back-to-back weeks together.
Yeah, and they have some time to figure things out as well. If they can get by Washington, then you have obviously a Dallas team and a Giants team that aren't going anywhere. So some time to figure it out, some time perhaps depending on what goes on with Detroit. Minnesota's got to play tomorrow night. We'll see what happens with them. But yeah, this team's in good shape. And the fact that they're able to throw the football the way they did today speaks to the fact that they, can do it, should do it. And it makes them a more well-rounded team, and that's what you want to be. Jalen Hurts just talked about it. By the way, he confirmed he broke his finger too, so he's dealing with that. And the fact that you have A.J. Brown, the fact that you have Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert's going to be back for the playoffs. There's no reason that this team shouldn't be able to do each side of it. That's what we all envisioned when Howie Roseman put this together. Okay, you got this great group of pass catchers. Now you add Saquon Barkley to it. You have the best offensive line. It should have been easier than it has been. And today it looked easy. It looked easy.
It was.
Against a very good defense.
Well-coached team. Hey, John, I said to Zander a couple minutes ago, I think that was a really big win for Nick. And kind of like everyone looking at him. And again, last year there was situations where people questioned whether or not he could put fires out. And even if that's true, John, a perception will be looked at as, well, they responded. Zander said it out of the gate. They responded today, and Nick has one job, the culture in the locker room, really, when it comes down to what he did. Yeah. And you know what? I thought it was a big Sunday for him.
Well, Devontae Smith after the game said there were difficult conversations this week. So for people that think it was nothing, it was something. Um, and you know, the ironic thing is, I think AJ, Devontae, and Jalen Hurts were all on the same page. That part I think was a little bit disconnected from reality because it got focused on personal relationships. As far as football, they were on the same page. Like, we got to get this going. We can't throw for 108 yards. We can't throw for 118 yards. This is ridiculous. And um, they may have overcorrected from the early season struggles. It went too heavy to the running game. And hey, if you can figure things out when you're still winning football games, that's the best case scenario. You usually have to figure things out when you get beat. And everybody goes back to the drawing board and says, all right, we got to change this. We got to change that. We have to adjust this. It's easy after a loss. This team keeps winning 10 consecutive, and they keep making adjustments, which I think is a positive thing for a potential championship level team. Um, and this, I mean, if they play like this, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Now, it's hard to play like this every week, but if they play like this, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
How about this, John? You have Carolina the way you played last week, and you played this week versus the Steelers. Well, who are you then?
Well, exactly. Well, and that's the point. You can't play like this every week. You can't.
Right.
Carolina, we talked about it, whether you want to call it a trap game, a human nature game. These are human beings. I mean, you can't just play at an optimal level 100% of the time. But this shows you the ceiling of this team. I think this Pittsburgh game, because I'm sure there have been other impressive wins by good teams, but this is about as complete a football game as I've seen all year from anybody. They destroyed that team.
And that's a good
They
team.
They gave up 2 yards in the first quarter. It was from the get-go. They stifled them offensively, defensively, other than TJ Watt, the occasional play. And they did a nice job with the 2 turnovers early. One was on special teams. That's what Pittsburgh does. But overall, this is about a game as you will see in the NFL this season.
John, did you get any insight on what went on the sidelines with Clint Hurt and with Nick?
I think Nick was pissed off. They got a bit of a break there because Jalen Carter slapped and that was before the punt. So I think the officials made a mistake. I have to look at the pool report, but should have been Pittsburgh's football, and they would have got 15 yards. So they would have been about the 31 or 32 yard line. Now, ultimately, they got together and said it was after the punt. It wasn't after the punt, from what I saw. So I think the Eagles got a bit of a break. And Nick was pissed off because that's a stupid play. That's a stupid thing to do. And, he's not going to get into the personal conversations. My assumption is Clint's trying to protect his guy. And Nick's like, look, it's stupid. Don't defend him. That's my presumption of what happened. But, yeah, it was a stupid play by Jalen Carter.
John, how impressive has Vic Fangio been and what he's done to this defense?
Oh, my God. I mean, I tweeted out the numbers in this 9-game winning streak coming in, which were astronomical. I mean, and I'll try to pull them up when I'm talking, but they're number one in everything: points per game, yards per game, sacks, yards per play, number one for 9 consecutive games in every major category. And they were better today. Less points, less yards per play. It's amazing to me that I can say this with a straight face. This is the best defense in the NFL. where we were pre-Vic Fangio. You and I talk every day about this team, Zander. I mean, anybody who says they saw this coming is lying, or they're a blind, bait fan. Um, it's unbelievable what he has done with this team,
You and
and
I,
how he's got them.
John, the same thing. I mean, I thought this defense would be better next year early. And for them to be on December 15th, I said the same thing earlier. I go, I'm ready to say it. They're the best football team defensively in the National Football League. I mean, since the bye, John, the most points they gave up was Jacksonville, 23. I mean, you're holding teams down in the teens now. I mean, it's unbelievable. How about this? That Zach Bond in open space. I can't
Oh my
believe
Lord!
what an open field tackler he is. And how about this one? Nakobe Dean playing the inside with, I thought Jordan Davis played well inside, stopping the run. What they're doing in there and how they're handling the triangle and Zach Bond in open space. John, he might be the best linebacker the Eagles have had in open space since Seth. He gets
he got caught on, I think it was a flicker, but I don't need. He got caught on a wide receiver, and he was 30 yards downfield, and he's pissed off at himself because he's a step behind a wide receiver, 30 yards down the field. I mean, that's like Derek Brooks territory.
Yeah.
Guys covering that far down the field. Yeah, he's been an all-pro level player, which they signed him for $1.6 million. So, even the Eagles didn't envision this. And we've talked about that a lot. Vic Fangio, for whatever reason, said they signed him to be an edge rusher, a backup edge rusher, and a special teams player. He was a good special teams player in New Orleans. And Vic was like, you know what? I think he can play off-ball linebacker. And boy, can he play off-ball linebacker. And we're at a large sample size. We're almost done the season. So, he's an all-pro player. So they came in over that 9-game winning streak, but I finally found it, 15.3 points per game. They gave up 13 today. 248 yards a game, number one in the NFL. They gave up 163 today. Yards per play, 4.2, led the NFL. They're under 4 today. I think it was 3.8. This is unbelievable, the way this defense is performing. Short fields, a couple times they, because of a bad punt and the fumble early with Cooper DeJean, they were on short fields on a couple of occasions, not stopping them, holding them to field goals. It's Vic Fangio is, I said, considering his reputation, you know how that goes, Dan. Everybody talks about people, and they almost can't live up to the reputation, whether it's a player or a coach. Oh, this guy's the greatest defensive coordinator. This guy's, he's it. He's even better than his reputation should suggest it. And I'm not talking about the scheme, because everybody runs the scheme. Well, so many people run the scheme.
Player development.
Yeah, it's about player development. It's about teaching the concepts he wants to run so the players can run them effectively. It's about the teaching. And he's unbelievable at it, as you see with the younger players.
Yeah, they really are playing unbelievable football right now. John, did you hear anything or learn anything about Saquon Barkley? I know he didn't have his best game, but to me, he didn't look himself. I don't know if he was nursing a little bit of an injury. Anything you know about Saquon Barkley? And
yeah, he talked after the game. He's not hurt, hurt. But he was in the second quarter. I mentioned on the halftime show. I was watching him on the sidelines. He was visibly trying to shake out his leg and trying to get it loose. So that's just wear and tear of 15 games and 15 weeks. getting beat up every week as a running back. That's the life of a running back. That's what's going on with Saquon Barkley. But he's, as Dan will tell you, there's hurt and there's injured.
There's 15. Hey, John, there's week 15, and then there's injury. Okay. My concern, John, would be more with Lane and with Dickerson. I mean, those guys there, obviously, they were both out at one time at the same time. I mean, those guys look
Mackay got banged up. Mackay got banged up as well. I saw them all in the locker room, so they're all, again, hurt, not injured, banged up, week 15. It's better than Detroit. When you're losing guys for the season versus guys who get banged up and have to leave. But yeah, I talked to Lane for a long time. He's fine. Jordan's fine. Mackay's fine. Landon's been banged up all year. He's the toughest guy in the world. I'm convinced about that. So he'll play. But yeah, they're banged up.
Nothing like the Lions, though, when you're talking about season ending injuries. John, last question for me, man. Is the drama, is the concern, is everything we talk about the passing game, is this enough to put it to bed for you? What say you, Johnny Mac?
We'll see next week. Got to be more consistency. Now they got to get the running game going, like I said at the beginning. No, a tremendous performance. We all knew it was in there. I mean, how many times I got to tell people AJ Brown's the best player on this football team?
Just get that dude the ball, John. Holy shit, that dude can play.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. And yeah, when you don't utilize him, that's not a good thing. So for the
John,
people
he's the best receiver in the game.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm not going to go that far, but he's top. He's
top.
For
a team that runs the ball and he can block down the field. Jamar Chase couldn't block his grandma. This guy gets in the run game, blows people up in the run game, and his after the catch stuff is insane. For that offense, John, man, I'll tell you what, I'd rather have him than Jamar Chase in there because that guy is right when you need him in the run game and when you need him for when you need that slant. That slant, John, is almost undefensible when they throw that thing like that.
Yeah, well, they should. I mean, there's the guy in Minnesota. He's probably the best receiver in football.
Jamar's having
AJ's right there. AJ's right there. You want to talk about blocking? Watch Puka Nacua, man. That guy.
He blows people up. He surely does.
So there's a lot of good receivers out there, but AJ's.
So John, just to be clear here, like it was a really great performance today, and it shows what they can do. But you would like to see this again heading into the playoffs.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Consistency, right?
You can't just go.
Okay.
You can't just play like this and throw for 118 yards next week. It's got to be more consistent. There's no reason it shouldn't be. There's no reason it shouldn't have been this entire time. We're not talking about throwing it 50 times. They want to keep Jalen Hurts at 25 to 30. He was at 32 today, so it was a little bit higher than they want to go. They want to keep him at 25 to 30, but it'll go 5 each direction depending on how Saquon's performing. They did a good job stopping Saquon. No jersey this week. But this is what you want. When they stop Saquon, they're selling out to stop the run. Take advantage of it the other way.
Yeah, and I think it also proved today, John. This is why you want a good passing game because you're just a different team. When you can pass the ball like they did today, you're a different football team. And
I mean, the fans out there who said you don't need a passing game or didn't care about the passing game. I mean, come on, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now as you see it, you see why it was ridiculous. Much different team. This looked like a Super Bowl team today. They didn't look like a Super Bowl team against Carolina.
I agree 100%, Johnny Mac. John, thanks for joining, brother. 10 straight, 12-2. I mean, John, the team just keeps freaking winning with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, man.
Yeah, well, we'll see you in New Orleans. We got some time before that, but right now everything's coming up Eagles.
I love it. Johnny Mac, good stuff, brother. We'll
Thanks,
catch you
John.
tomorrow morning on Birds 365, 8 to 10 a.m. Looking forward to doing it with you, brother. Talk to you then.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, good stuff from Johnny Mac joining us live from Lincoln Financial Field. I know Big Sills was eating that answer up.
Well, because it's true. I mean, great game today. A great Sunday. Wonderful. Excellent. Like you said, wait a minute now. Last week you were a dog against the Panthers. Now you're excellent. What are you going to be tomorrow when you have to play the Commanders? And I'm not saying the Commanders are.
All right, but give me this. All right, you're right, but give me this, okay? We've debated this week in and week out on your show, on the National Football Show, 2 to 6 every day, Monday through Friday on JAKIB Sports. The best show on YouTube. I say that and I mean that. The best.
National Wussy Show, as he called it today. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what your host is, the wussy, but it's
right.
The best show on YouTube. So if you don't watch it, you should be watching it. But give me this. You've seen it now this year. You've seen that they did it and they're capable of it. Now, you're right. Will they continue to do it? Will they be consistent? Those are different questions. But we have seen it now this year.
Wouldn't you agree that we always believed they had the ability to do it, but they hadn't?
Yeah, but you weren't wrong when you said, well, Zander, where is it? I haven't seen it yet this year.
Right. Okay.
Now I've seen
it. But well, you have to ask yourself this question. Do you believe one game turns the tide for your passing game? If you believe that, again, John and I are not in that room, because in the game today, you've got to be able to do that and by the way, John's right. You don't have to be 400 yards passing or 350 yards.
Congratulations. You found a Grinch friend. You got a replacement for the Grinch.
Why? Because he speaks the truth that you want to see consistency. Oh, no, here's what Zander wants. Holy shit. Today, guess what? It answered everything we've ever thought about this team. And then guess what he'll be doing? He'll be next week after he throws for 104 again. What happened? I mean, there we go. Let me tell you, I want to see it again. There's no how about this? Do we not agree? This will be a little precursor. There's no reason to lose one more football game. There's no reason not to have any downtime. There's no reason to shit the bed in the passing game or in the run game. Run through the tape. We'll be watching.
Holy shit. Can you imagine if this team, what would that be? They're up to 10 straight wins. There's 3 left. If you'd get the bye week, that would be, what would that be?
You have to win 3.
16 straight wins?
You would have to win divisional, the NFC title game, and the Super Bowl. So it would be 3 in the playoffs.
Even with the bye week?
If you get the bye, you have to win 3.
Right.
Divisional, conference title, then the Super Bowl. So they would go, how many would they? Okay, so they got how many more left? 4?
3.
They got 3. Okay, so 13 in a row and then another 3. They'd win 16 consecutive ball games.
Dude, that would be NFL history. That's tough to do, man. That is tough to freaking do. Holy shit.
What a great day, man. Unbelievable.
And Cilio and this dumbass Amber will tell you every day how shitty this team is. 16.
No. What we're unlike you, my friend, we're looking for one thing that matters only. And you know what that is? Hoisting the Vince Lombardi trophy.
I'm with you on that.
That is the only thing here. And by the way, Detroit losing all those players. Whew. Hey, by the way, Zander, how about this one? You better not let Minnesota catch your ass.
Minnesota is actually, if Detroit falters and Minnesota doesn't, Minnesota would actually get the 1 seed.
If Minnesota wins, if Minnesota beats them, they'll have an even record and get the bye and win the North.
Yes. If both teams win out, Minnesota and the Eagles, Minnesota gets the bye. So we need them to lose too. Our Big Sills, good show, man. Great show. Birds win their 10 straight. Your final thoughts, man, before I let you go, and then you'll have the 2 to 6 show tomorrow.
Fantastic win today. And like John said, they beat a great team up and a well-coached team. How about this? They answered some of the noise today with a great – how about this? There's either 2 things, right, Zander? You're either going to allow side noise to derail you like it did a year ago, or you're going to take it and use it as fuel moving forward. I do think 2023 has an effect on this 2024 team. They're not going to allow that this time. And one thing I'll give your boy Jalen Hurts, your running game was stifled today. Hurts stepped up when he needed to and stepped in. That's what a guy that needs to do and win a Super Bowl. He looked a lot like 22 Jalen Hurts tonight.
Yeah.
Will he be able to do that the rest of the way out for the remaining games to win a Super Bowl? Yet to be determined. Stay tuned. 2 to 6, Monday. Be there.
We'll be looking forward to it. Big Sales. Great show today, brother.
By the way, just one more thing. I'm going to have a mandatory mandate on the Philadelphia Eagles going the rest of the way on Monday. They must accomplish this. They must accomplish that. They must accomplish this. Because right now, you are saying you're the best team in football. Well, guess what we'll be doing? We're going to sign some receipts tomorrow.
Okay, you know what? All right, let me say this. One thing before you go. What's the best take of the year on JAKIB Sports between me, you, and John?
Different opinions.
No. The best. One of us had the best take of the year so far.
What would be that? Oh, the no holes defense. Yes, I can see.
No holes, baby. No holes.
Yes. You win. Yes. No holes.
Let's go, baby.
Hey, Zander, both John and I said today, and I couldn't believe it either. It's the best defense in football.
It's incredible what this defense is doing. I told
great
them
prediction.
no holes. I did not expect this. This is insane what this defense is
Yeah,
doing.
but you identified it kind of early. I think it was New Orleans.
All right,
I'll
Big
see you
Sales. Great
tomorrow,
show.
man.
Tomorrow.
Sissy out. We'll see out. I'll see you tomorrow.
Go on. Go rewatch the start of the show.
I'm not watching shit. I got Corona time now.
All right. Goodbye. See you, brother. Good stuff from Big Stills National Football Show. Host 2 to 6, Monday through Friday. Best in the business. Best show on YouTube in the morning.